What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's get a little spicy. When I tell you the Potomac internet streets have been hot, I mean, girl, on fire. It's too much, okay? But we got to talk about it, okay? So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So first up, let's talk about Miss Stacy, okay? So it seems as though the people have found the said actress that Giselle and Ashely were referring to that they met at that Black Women in Hollywood event. I think it was like an Essence event that told them that TJ was gearing up to sue Stacy, and they are also saying that she showed paperwork to them. Well, I saw two posts, one from Bravo OMG on Instagram and a tweet from Baddies TV. So I want to talk about both. So the first post we're going to talk about is Bravo OMG, and they posted this on Instagram, and it says this: during the RHOP reunion, it was revealed that Stacy's ex was allegedly planning to sue her for breaking a contract, and the source of the rumor, a famous actress who wanted to stay anonymous. After some TikTok sleuthing, I think it's Shanola Hampton from Shameless and Found, who said on Watch What Happens Live that she's best friends with TJ. Now, I've seen Shanola. That lady can act because I love her on Shameless. Now, I haven't watched Found, but I've heard good things about it. So they're saying Shanola is the one that showed Giselle and Ashely this information allegedly, because, even though people doing digging, that don't mean it's true. But I want to move on to what Baddies TV posted, where they said this, and is this the A-list actress Giselle Bryant was referring to during the RHOP premiere? If you watch the RHOP premiere, you already know the girls came in hot. But the moment that really had people talking, Giselle Bryant casually dropped that she sat next to TJ's best friend, who allegedly showed her receipts that Stacy's ex is planning to sue her over a contract. Now, Giselle didn't name names, but she did say this friend was close to TJ and heavily implied she had all the tea. Well, let's connect a few dots, shall we? And then it says credit to Watch What Happens Live. So they actually posted a clip of the actress Miss Shanola Hampton talking on Watch What Happens Live, and they captioned the video saying, and is this the A-list actress Giselle was referring to during the RHOP premiere? So it is a clip of Miss Shanola on Watch What Happens Live last year talking about Stacy and TJ's relationship. So let me pull that clip up for you.
First thoughts on new housewife Stacy?
Well, weirdly enough, TJ is one of my best friends coming in, so I know a little.
No way, TJ,
my first
her boyfriend.
Thought, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
And so I have a lot of thoughts. I can't wait to see how the season plays out.
Okay.
I know. I like her, though.
Okay. All right.
So I know everybody is focused on saying that Miss Shanola Hampton is the actress who gave Giselle and Ashely this information. It's still alleged because we don't have any confirmation. People are just connecting the dots that they see. So, I would believe it if she came out and said, yes, I told them that. And I would believe it if she said no, because TJ is an actor. Like the fact that he was in that episode of 911, I said, oh my God, you really do this. Okay. Makes me feel like he probably has other actresses and actor friends. So it could have been a different lady. So there is some kind of 50-50 kind of energy here. But what was more interesting to me about that clip is her response, because if Miss Shanola is really best friends with TJ, the way that she responded to talking about Stacy's and TJ's relationship gave very much, they're not really together, but I'm not going to blow up my friend's spot. I'm going to just support him in what he doing. Because if someone is your best friend, you would know who they're dating. And it does not seem like that lady has ever met Stacy. And Stacy was on last season saying she was like madly in love with that man. So I just, you know, I'm, yeah. I don't believe they were ever together. My headcanon is, on one hand, I could believe that Stacy promised TJ some type of monetary like compensation, but on the other hand, I could see that she probably didn't pay him. But I do believe the relationship was fake. I feel as though that TJ and Stacy weren't even friends like that. They were more so co-workers, and Stacy didn't want to talk about her divorce really, and she wanted a different storyline other than her divorce, and she decided to talk about her relationship with TJ. TJ wanted exposure, and then we got Stacy and TJ being a fake couple last season. So either way, to me, Stacy lied. So it is what it is. But I'm not really pressed about the TJ storyline anymore. It was definitely entertaining last season, and then at the reunion with him saying she need to pay me my money. But going into season 10, I somewhat care about it, but I also don't want the whole entire season to be like we got to get Stacy, because I don't think it's that deep. Because Giselle, you and Jamal's relationship during season 5 was fake. We all knew it was fake. Ashely and this will they won't they divorce situation, girl, you've been lying for the past like 4 years. So there's that. Okay. So moving on and continuing on with Stacy, we got to get into this TMZ article that was posted the other day. So it looks like TMZ is reporting that Stacy's divorce is actually legit. So this is what it says. It says RHOP star Stacy Rusch divorce looks legit. Castmates suspects storyline ruse. So it says Stacy Rusch castmates on The Real Housewives of Potomac aren't convinced she actually got divorced from her husband Thimu Rusch. But TMZ did some digging and it looks like the divorce is legit. Here's the deal. Stacy got called out on the recent episode of RHOP by fellow castmates who claimed she was fudging documents or divorce documents. But court records appear to confirm Stacy is telling the truth. The documents show Thimu filed for divorce in early December of 2024. Oh, so he filed for divorce. Okay, I thought it was Stacy. It says saying the couple married in Germany in September of 2007 and had been separated since August the 23rd. He said they apparently hammered out a quick settlement as there was no hope of possibility of reconciliation between the parties. Stacy and Thimu are now back together. That's her storyline for this season. And she told viewers she and Thimu decide to reconcile during a family Christmas getaway to Mexico with their 9-year-old daughter, Arabella, after she found out on the trip they were officially divorced. So it seems her storyline jibs with the dates on the legal filings. As for why Stacy's divorce was met with doubt on RHOP, she joined the cast last season and her storyline was about going through a divorce and moving on with a man she said she was dating, Thomas Anthony TJ Jones. Girl, the whole government name. Stacy and TJ broke up during the reunion. He told one of the husbands she paid him to be on the show because she needed a storyline. And now her castmates are wondering if the whole divorce and getting back with her ex is just a storyline too. Giselle Bryant even claims Stacy went to an app and made her divorce documents, but now we know they were actual divorce documents filed with the court. So I guess Stacy was actually telling us the truth about this one. You ate that one right there, Miss Stacy, Miss Spacey Stacy. I will say this. I wish TMZ would have added more information of where they access this information. Like, what legal database did y'all access in order to look up this information? Like, what state did Stacy and her husband get a divorce in? But I can believe them getting back together because they were together for over 12 plus years. They got married in 2007. They separated it in 2023. And then the divorce was finalized in December of 2024. And it seems as though I don't think they had a prenup. or something, but it seems like they were able to, like, it was a speedy divorce. That's what I'm trying to say. So I can believe them being on vacation together, and the fact that they also didn't tell Arabella that they were divorcing each other. So it's like you're on vacation with your daughter. She doesn't really know what's going on. You finally tell her you're divorced, and now it's like, dang, do we really want this now that they have exposed their child to the truth? So yeah, I can see them getting back together. They were together for over a decade. Like, maybe they just want to spin the block to be for sure that divorce is, you know, what they want. So, point for Stacy, because they can't keep talking about, I mean, they're gonna keep talking about it, but with this information out, when it comes to Watch What Happens Live, she pretty much is going to be vindicated. So, points for Stacy. So let's talk about Ashely. Okay. So first up, Ashley's father actually passed away, I think, a few days ago, but they just recently had the funeral, and she got online to talk about the reason why she did not attend the funeral. Now, I'm not going to play the clip for you guys because it was pretty lengthy, but I'll give you a brief synopsis. So this was posted by Reality Entertainment TV, and it says this: Ashley Darby opens up about the passing of her father and explains why she chose not to attend the funeral. Basically, she had the option, I think, of going to the funeral, but chose not to, mainly because her dad didn't want anything to do with her. If you have been watching Real Housewives of Potomac, season 5, Ashley tried to go and visit her father. She actually met her aunt and uncle, and when she tried to talk to the man, he shut the door in her face because he didn't want anything to do with her. And Ashley said in this video that it's crazy that everything that she learned about her father, like his hobbies of like going fishing and loving to dance and like sing and things of all that nature, things that she says she actually likes to do, she found out about all of that in an obituary. And I think what was the icing on the cake for her is realizing that her father never really wanted her, because in the obituary, it says the things that her dad was most proud of was his children, which was his 2 sons, her half siblings, and there was no mention of her. So that probably had to sting really bad. Now, a lot of people were pointing out how Ashley was being very mature in this video talking about her relationship with her father, but are very perplexed and surprised with her behavior as it pertains to Wendy, how she's been taking shots at her and shading her. But I do wonder if Ashley is going to start talking about this next season, because no longer can we keep hearing about this whole divorce. Like, I don't want to hear it no more. I also don't want to hear about Ashley healing and surviving, and thriving anymore. I need something else. So I feel like if Ashley comes back for season 11, her storyline is probably going to be about reconciling with, her father and maybe her siblings if they're interested in being on the show. I don't know if they want to be, especially because of, it seems as though the reason why her father wasn't interested in her because she was black. And if you don't know, Ashley has 2 other siblings, and they all have different dads. So Ashley's dad is white. She has a brother who is fully black that we've seen on the show. And then she has a younger sister who we know Ashley does not like her father, who is white. That's the guy that pretty much Sheila takes care of and had her living underneath a bridge. So it seems as though Sheila don't make the best decisions when it comes to the men in her life. But I would be more interested in seeing Ashley deal with the rejection of a parent, i.e. her father, and the poor decisions her mom has made, than listening about her being married to that wet, pasty demon she called a husband, i.e. Michael. So continuing with Ashley, I want to talk about a few clips that I saw of her being on Watch What Happens Live last Sunday. Now, this Watch What Happens Live was a pre-record, so they didn't talk anything about Wendy, all right? And honestly, it probably was a good thing, because the way that Ashley has been carrying on ever since the Wendy and Eddie arrest has happened, disgraceful, okay? Like, that lady has been cutting up, okay? And we're going to talk about that. But I want to get into Watch What Happens Live. So the first clip I want to play for you guys is Ashely responding to a question from Andy saying, how does she feel about Stacy trying to date Chris Samuels, as well as Stacy starting a cannabis line like Wendy and Eddie?
What did you think of the revelation that Stacy maybe had been pursuing Chris Samuels tonight at the end of the episode?
I was shocked. Mind you, I got that information months ago.
Okay.
So that is not new. That had happened a long time ago.
Okay.
Shock and awe.
Shock and awe.
Yes.
Do you believe Stacy's idea for a weed line happened a long time ago? Or Giselle alleged it at the reunion last year.
And Wendy even said, too, she heard that months prior, Stacy had been inquiring about a cannabis line. So the timeline doesn't add up.
So here's the thing. I do not think it's that big of a deal that Stacy and Chris Samuels might be dating or might have gone out a couple of times. I remember I reported on that because shouts out to the Bravo Shade Room. They posted pictures of Stacy, Chris Samuels, her friend AJ, and another guy. My thing about it is Monique is the one that filed for divorce. So I don't think it's that big of a deal for Chris Samuels to be talking to Stacy. I mean, I get it. Some people might say, oh, he's clout chasing because he's trying to talk to another housewife who was attached to the show his ex-wife was on. But I'm also like, is it that big of a deal? As well as Stacy doesn't owe Monique anything. They're not friends. She don't owe her no loyalty. Like it would be one thing if we find out that Monique and Stacy actually know each other. But I thought I downloaded a clip of Stacy doing an interview with Bryce Sanders where she was asked about Karen and Monique, and she basically said she thought Monique was fun, and she was like, she doesn't really know who Monique is prior to this show, but she was like, getting to know her has been nice. So she doesn't really know Monique. So I don't think she should be met with any like hostility or animosity from Monique, because at the end of the day, you wanted the divorce, you got the divorce. She don't know you, so she's allowed to date that man. I don't care. When it comes to the whole weed and cannabis business thing, I do think it was a snake move for Stacy to start this line and not tell Wendy. If you and Wendy are supposed to be cool to a certain extent, then you should have just been open and honest and laid everything out on the table. And the fact that Stacy didn't do that, she's moving funny. As well as the name of the cannabis line, I think it is a Nigerian word that means happiness or peace or tranquility. So it's like you biting off of their name, Happy Eddie, and then you name your cannabis line after that. And it's like, I feel like she should have called it Spacey Stacy. That's one thing that Ashely has given her that I feel like would have been great to market her line. Spacey Stacy is cute. Like that's like I would buy a t-shirt with Spacey Stacy on it, and it's like Stacy, a cartoon version of Stacy as like an astronaut, and it's like pink clouds behind her as she goes off into space, or the galaxy behind her is like colorful. I just feel like, girl, there was so many opportunities to make this cute. And naming it what she named it, I don't think was the right vibe for her. You know, but if I find out Stacy named something Spacey Stacy and she takes my idea of the t-shirts, I need compensation. Okay, I need it. But yeah, I would agree that, girl, you lied and you should have just been forthright at the reunion, because you dead ass told Wendy, oh, I don't know what she's talking about. And then the season starts and we're on episode 2 and you admit that you are starting a cannabis line. Stacy, you're not looking trustworthy. Okay. So the next clip I want to play for you guys is again from Watch What Happens Live, but it's about Jeff Lewis. So Jeff Lewis was asked by Andy, do you believe that Stacy paid TJ? And I thought his answer was very interesting because he came from a different perspective. So I want to talk about it. So let me pull that clip up for you guys.
Do you, Jeff Lewis, believe that Stacy paid TJ to be her boyfriend last season?
I don't know why, but I've thought a lot about this, and I think it could be a situation where she said, hey, participate and I'll throw you some money, and then didn't pay him, and then now he's suing her. But the one thing that I think that obviously they have no written agreement, because I don't think anyone is going to promise 50% of their earnings. You'd have to be a moron. So that's where I think he's maybe
Okay,
allegedly
but again,
lying.
Jeff, so how much money Stacy makes was on that document, and no one else knows that except us. That's insider
But it
information.
was an oral agreement, so we don't know exactly what she had promised, if anything.
That's true, but he at least knew how much he was making.
I will tell you that just from filming in the past, I have actually asked people to film, and if we use them a lot, I would throw them a little bit
That's
of
fair.
money. You know, I mean, I didn't ask them to play a part or, you know, play a character, but I would compensate them.
That's fair.
So, but here's the thing, this is where she should just come clean.
Hello?
What is this arrangement? Tell us.
Tell the people, AKA me, tell me.
So, 3 things. Number 1, I was actually surprised that Jeff Lewis wasn't a dick. Like, he actually was being, like, I do think that oftentimes Jeff Lewis has good takes to a certain extent, but he can be very, like, mean with the way that he speaks about these Bravo celebrities. So I was surprised to hear him, like, actually give Stacy some grace and understanding, where he has admitted that, you know, I've paid my friends to be on the show, especially if we use them a lot on the show, which I think is nice, because some people would just be like, I'm paying you an exposure. But also him stating that, like, I don't really know if she paid him. Maybe it was a verbal agreement, but she should just be honest and come clean. And I do agree, because it makes it easier for people to believe that Stacy is lying. And I'm one of those people. I did not believe that Stacy got a divorce from her husband, because I was like, I could believe that she fudged documents and they weren't real, because I'm like, the way that Stacy moves is snake-like a little bit. Like, girl, you kind of moving like a California king snake. Okay, girl. So I'm just kind of like, she could be telling the truth, but she could be lying. So I'm not totally sure about this. So I just feel like, yeah, I'm with Jeff. Just come clean about this. If you really did just ask TJ to be on the show because you did not want to talk about your divorce, because it was too raw for you to really speak about it. Ashely saying that they knew how much Stacy made, I was like, maybe she really did see some documents. Maybe the documents have been drafted, because Stacy did say this is new information to you, but not to me. So I'm guessing TJ was going to go forward with Sue and Stacy, but we're now, season 10 has been filmed. They're airing it now, and he has not proceeded with it. So maybe somebody told him not to go forth with it. I don't know. But that's very interesting that they know how much that lady made. So the next clip I want to play for you guys is a viewer, an audience question, where a guy ends up asking Ashely, who is worse, Mia or Stacy? So let me pull that clip up for you guys.
Hey, Ashely, how are you? So I have a question. Who do you think has the most complicated relationship with the truth, Stacy or Mia?
Oh, wow. I'm gonna say Stacy, because the thing about Mia is crazy, but she acknowledges it, and Stacy will lie to you through her teeth. That's the scary kind right there.
Hey, Ashely.
I disagree with Ashely. And here's the thing. I think Stacy and Mia are similar, but they're not the same. And I think Mia is worse than Stacy when it comes to lying as of right now. Because right now, the only thing Stacy has been lying about, or the only things Stacy has been lying about, is 1, her relationship with TJ and the weed line. And, well, no, Vivian says she lied about that dress. And then she's posted receipts. So no, she's lied about 3 things. But most of the things that Stacy has lied about aren't very serious. Whereas when Mia started out, she was lying about, like, her age and being a CEO of the Joint Chiropractics and all of that stuff. And then it got worse when she started talking about her relationship with Jacqueline, because then we had Jacqueline's sister come online, then her relationship with Gordon and how that transpired, and then his mental state, and then you started lying about the paternity of your child. It was like, it got worse as she stayed on the show. So I would say Mia is worse because she lied about more serious things. Even though I get what Ashely is saying about she at least cops to it, we ain't seen Stacy go that far. And I hope Stacy doesn't go that far, because right now it's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? But we could see through Stacy's facade by the end of the season. She likes to act like she's this valley girl and she's Miss Prim and she's proper and she don't know how to dance and all of that stuff. And Ashely Dorby, like she has these high pitched inflections in her voice. But we saw last season the Detroit come out of Stacy. So we know it's an act. Even AJ was looking at her crazy when they were meeting up for the first time on the show. And he was like, girl, this ain't how you normally act. So we know it's an act with Stacy, but it's not malicious. So I would say that for me, Mia is worse than Stacy. But y'all let me know how y'all feel. So the last thing we're going to talk about as it pertains to Ashely is she plays this game where she's supposed to like answer these questions about her castmates. And I was actually surprised because it looks like her and Angel don't see it for each other. So let me pull that clip up.
Ashely, for each of my probing questions, answer by choosing either Angel, Giselle, Kay, Stacy, Tia, or Wendy.
Okay.
By the way, what were your impressions of the new girls?
I like them. I really like Tia quite a bit.
Great.
Yeah.
Who left the best impression on you of the new girls?
Tia.
Besides yourself, who brought the most shade this season?
Oh, Giselle.
Who formed the most unlikely duo?
Stacy and Wendy.
Oh, interesting. Giselle and Wendy are also an unlikely duo. I enjoy them.
Yeah.
Who had your back the most this season?
Giselle. It's my homegirl in real life.
Who had the best fashion overall?
Me.
Who did you spar with the most?
Stacy. You know, that breath was a big topic of conversation.
Who cracked you up the most this season?
Kay. Yeah.
Who hurt your feelings the most this season?
Nobody.
Who was in Stacy's corner the most?
Wendy.
Okay.
Yeah.
At this point in time, who might be in need of a chin check?
Angel.
All right. Thank you very much.
So I wonder what's going to happen between Angel and Ashely for Ashely to say that she needs to be chin checked. But I'm also starting to feel like Kiarna is the new Robin. Now, a couple of y'all, I asked this on Twitter. I was like, is Kiarna the new Robin? Everybody was like, no. Somebody said at least Robin had her own, like she had a personality to a certain extent. They was like, Kiarna not doing it for them. And I was like, well, y'all, we only 2 episodes into the season. But I just thought that was funny. It seems like Kiarna, Ashely, and Giselle are actually like cool. So I don't know. I don't know if Ashely and Angel are gonna fall out. I don't know if Kiarna and Angel are gonna fall out because I did see that at I think it was at the premiere party, Bryce Sanders ended up asking Kiarna how was her relationship with Angel, and she said they were actually in a good place. So I don't know. I think they will be okay. But I wonder what's going to happen between Ashely and Angel. And I think it's also interesting that Wendy is going to have Stacy's back. So I don't think we're going to hear anything messy about Wendy's situation from Stacy, which is probably a good thing because Ashely and NECA have, already whacked the lady, okay? So since I talked about that, let's talk about Ashely, NECA. Honestly, let's just get into Wendy's segment. So you guys already know, or if you don't know, I did do a standalone spicy corner about Wendy and Eddie, okay? And I also talked about the reactions from some of the housewives, such as Candace, Mia, Ashely, Katie, and, friend of Jacqueline. Okay. And in my video, we talked about Ashely saying Zen Win is in the pen. And y'all, we already knew about this information. Y'all just catching up. And then another thing she said was, we making melodies, not felonies. And it was interesting to see the reaction from some of the fans where some people thought, okay, this is to be expected. It's Ashely. This is Ashely. You know what I'm saying? But then other people were actually like grossed out by what she said and was like, yeah, Stacy was right. She is an evil little imp. She is the devil. For me, I expected Ashely to say something. I just don't think I thought she would be this tactless. I thought she would be shady, but I thought she would leave it with, we making melodies, not felonies. But the whole Zen Win is in the pen, and we already knew this about her. Y'all just catching up. That caught me off guard. It really did. I'm not going to lie, it did. And I also thought her and Wendy were in a good place. But this was posted by the Reality Rundown on Twitter, and it says this: confirmed cameras came back up last night, and Giselle and Kay joined Ashely for filming. Hashtag RHOP, hashtag Wendy Osefo. And they made a graphic where it says RHOP cameras went up at Ashely's event last night following the news of the Osefos being charged with fraud. And then there was a picture floating around of a screenshot of Ashely's Insta story where pretty much she has a picture of all of her friends, and the caption is catching melodies, not felonies. And then she added herself. Then she added a guy by the name of Mr. Henry DC. And I said, wow, Ashely. And on one hand, I'm like, I get the argument of people saying, well, they committed these crimes. Like, these weren't crimes that they had to commit. They committed fraud. So why is everyone taking it so seriously that Ashely is poking fun at Wendy and Eddie? But then on the other hand, I understand the argument of like, Ashely isn't one to talk when a lot of people believe that she covered up her husband being a predator. Like, we've all seen the clips of him touching one of the production hands' butts without their consent. So it's like, you don't really have any room to talk. I think it feels gross because it's like, it's Ashely. And also it feels like she's reveling in their demise. And don't get me wrong, I do think that people do have a right to gloat when the person that is meeting their demise has harmed you, and whether it's physically, sexually, verbally, like just been outright malicious to you. I get that. But it doesn't seem as though Wendy, if you think about it, Wendy has not done anything that bad to Ashely for her to be behaving this way. So I think that's why a lot of people feel like it's kind of gross and icky to see her like laughing at them, even though this is their fault. Like, it, even though all the stuff that's been told to us is alleged, it just seems like the evidence that's been given to us is very, very, very damning. Very damning. Okay. So there was Ashely's response again. So then we have NECA. So NECA posted a picture of herself, and it was something to the effect of like, when you really are that girl and you live the life that you say you live. Okay. And it's a picture of her, and she is like on a resort somewhere, and you have Cookie, Karen's best friend, saying, and all her jewelry is accounted for. And then she added NECA's name, boo, and then heart emojis. When I tell you, Cookie does not see it for Wendy, and I don't know if she's being Karen's mouthpiece or if something has happened between Cookie and Wendy. But then again, Cookie is the same lady who the people have been saying in DC was campaigning to blackball Candace during season 5 of the fight with Candace and Monique. And if you don't believe me, shouts out to this Twitter user who pulled up all the articles. Her name is Leah, and it says this: this is the lady who tried to blackball Candace from singing the anthem at a sporting event. When Mia posted that screenshot of Candace's IG, Cookie's profile pic was in the corner, so fans knew Cookie was in contact with Mia. Karen has been bringing her around for years. So then Leah posted pictures of like different articles to prove her point. So the first one was this thing that said, our HOP fans have just pointed out that Mia, Monique, and Cookie may be hiding something. Seems like this feud is a whole lot deeper than we could have anticipated. So basically, this was an article published back in 2021, specifically on September the 22nd, and it says, the things has been keeping up with Mia Thornton and Candace Diller Bass's social media feud over the last few days. But the Real Housewives of Potomac fans on Twitter have pointed out that this beef is a whole lot deeper than any of us could have expected. So then the next picture that they put in their collage says this: rather, the profile picture revealed Sharita Cookie Whiting, aka Monique Samuel's best friend, was behind the lurking. It says Candace and Cookie's beef in brief for fans who might not remember where the drama between Cookie and Candace stems from. Instagram user at All True Tea, shouts out to them because we reference them all over here all the time, was on hand to remind everyone that Cookie was responsible for having Candace's performance of the national anthem at the Washington Fusion game a while back. I think they meant to say cancel. So then then there's a screenshot of Candace's Instagram, and someone circled in the corner, and you see Cookie's profile picture in the corner. There's also a screenshot of an Insta story from the Black Socialite where there is a question that's being asked where the person says, "Why is Candace going in on Cookie and Monique? Hasn't the season already wrapped?" And they responded by saying, "The season has wrapped. Candace is going in on Cookie because she has every right to. Cookie has been blackballing Candace in DMV, and Candace called her out for it. The truth is the truth. Candace think Monique's put her up to it, but she didn't. Monique is innocent and has nothing to do with it. It's all Cookie doing it by herself." So Cookie has been in the mix since season 5. I low-key think since season 4, but she's making her presence known even more. But I guess Cookie don't see it for Wendy because of how Wendy rode for Candace during season 5. Because I was like, not her shading Wendy in NECA's comments. So then you got the rejects of Bravo. So Sweet Tea and Miss 8.5 Anne Marie were in the comments also giving NECA her props, where Sweet Tea said this: "You're proof that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. They tried to dim your light, but God had other plans. Keep living beautifully, sis. My turn coming soon. Hashtag grace over gossip. Hashtag surviving. Hashtag thriving. Love you, boo." When I tell you Sweet Tea is such a lame, she's such a lame. Like, hashtag my time's coming soon too, girl. Ew. She's a joke. I'm so glad she's not on Married to Medicine. And that's why you over there married to somebody 3 times your age. Like, who treats you like a child, who like framed, like, it was crazy is your man lied to you and said your place was robbed and ransacked and had you over here having heart palpitations and being stressed out. Girl, shut up. So then you have Anne Marie saying, "When you actually live the lifestyle," and then she put at all about the truth. Vindication is beautiful. Girl, worry about the lawsuit against your husband over there assaulting women. Let's worry about that, Anne Marie. And then Dr. Alicia, which I am disappointed because I actually like Dr. Alicia. And she said that that's my girl living her truth and looking gorgeous doing it. And that's why your man has you on TV looking stupid. I just, like somebody said on Twitter, I do not want people to congratulate me or support me because of who I'm in an adversarial role against. Like, praising me because of somebody else's downfall is never going to be, like, I'm never going to take that as something good. Like, the fact that they're in her comments gassing her up and it's all because of Wendy's downfall is crazy. It's wild. So we talked about Ashely and how some people are a little tired of her behavior. Well, Katie Katie decided to say some craziness. Okay, but we got to talk about it. She posted this statement on Threads. It was a repost or a quote tweet. I don't know what they call them over there at Threads because I don't have a Threads account. But it says this: the page, Mary Cosby's fan page, said, "Welcome back, Mama Sheila. Hashtag RHOP." So then Katie quote tweeted that post from Mary Cosby's fan page and said, "Ashely and I love each other. There's no beef, but she has no coof. I gotta throw a flag. My magical vagina that she told details about. She told Andy Cohen I have a hamster pussy on national television. She ate it, so I guess she would know. She is just a hater. We love you, Wendy." I said, Katie, where did this come from? First of all, when did Ashely say that lady had a hamster pussy on national television? Like, girl. And not her saying she ate the box. And I don't know. I feel like it could have happened. We see what happened with Julia and Adriana, and where it could not have happened. But when everybody saw this, people were like, "What, Katie? Katie, what are we talking about?" I said, "Katie." I'm not gonna lie, I was gagged because it just, I was like, "Katie, what is this?" So then Ashely saw this and she responded by saying this in her Insta story: "That false story is gross beyond words. I don't argue with mentally unstable people." Now, we know Katie ain't all the way there. We do know that. We do know that. So she could be lying, but she also could be telling the truth. She could be. You never know. I mean, Ashely, you was slobbing and globbing and knobbing on that man is as your ex-husband. So I don't know. I wouldn't put it past that you would mess with Katie. I wouldn't put it past you. So let's talk about Andy, okay? Because he actually talked about this situation on his Radio Andy show. So let's get into what he had to say.
I want to say that, like all of you, I found out about the charges against Wendy and Eddie Osefo on Friday morning, and there's not much that I can say. I know nothing of the charges more than you guys do, than what I've read. I'm sad about this. I'm really sad about this. And, Wendy is just, I'm a Wendy fan. And she has been a great housewife and a great role model she's always led with education and her solid family values. And so that's what, I'm really thinking about her and her family. And I'm certainly hoping that this is all some big, nothing. And, by the way, last night's Watch What Happens Live, we had taped that before I went to LA. So that is why you did not hear me asking Ashely her thoughts on that, in case you were wondering.
So I didn't expect Andy to trash Wendy. So his response is what I expected from him. I do think he actually likes Wendy. Andy will say he likes somebody or likes one of the girls, and he really don't. But I do think he likes the fact that Wendy and Giselle are cool. Like, something about them being friends he enjoys. So yeah, there's Andy's response. So the last thing we're going to talk about as it pertains to Wendy, and then we go get up on out of here. So it looks like Wendy has resigned from her position at Wesleyan University. Initially, TMZ was reporting that she got fired, but then later they had to come back and update their headline. So this is what I saw. From the Bravo Shade Room, it says Wesleyan University confirms Wendy Osefo resigned from her professor position, was not fired. The other picture in the slideshow says Wendy Osefo has been replaced as the sociology professor for the remainder of the semester at Wesleyan University. And then the last picture was an excerpt from the university that says Wendy Osefo is no longer an employee of Wesleyan University. So the caption that the Bravo Shade Room posted was this. It says, at TMZ confirmed, Dr. Wendy Osefo has been a distinguished visiting professor of sociology at Wesleyan University, but the school released a statement to TMZ Tuesday writing simply, Wendy Osefo is no longer an employee of Wesleyan University. Wendy Osefo resigned last year from Johns Hopkins University. She later returned to teaching at a different school, Wesleyan University, where she recently resigned following her arrest. Reminder, an email from I think it's Alabritton Center Director Kalia Brown Dean sent to students in Osefo's class explained that Associate Professor of Sociology Courtney Patterson Fay would take over teaching the class for the remainder of the semester. Neither the university nor Brown Dean responded to requests by the Anguish for comment on Osefo's arrest. Students in Osefo's class were surprised at the news of her arrest. And then they have a comment where it says, I was literally writing her an email the morning I found out, asking her about an assignment that was supposed to be due this week. Barry Zhang 29 said, I just finished grabbing lunch at Houston and I ran into one of my classmates and he was like, yo, did you see the news? And I was like, what news? And he said, our professor got arrested. I was like, what are you talking about? Because I just met her last week. And then she showed me on Instagram a post. She and her husband got arrested for fraud. I couldn't believe it. The class teaching assistant TA, Mariah Wilson, 26, expressed similar thoughts. I was shocked Having taken her class last fall, I didn't expect it. Wilson says, I hope she's well, and we'll find out more once the news comes out. Zhang reflected on Osefu's classroom style. I just felt like she was pretty cool. Zhang said she would crack jokes and stuff. So it seems like the students really cared about her and she was a kind teacher. So, and honestly, if you're a good teacher, students aren't just going to drag you or talk crap about you. Like, we see you every week. Like, no one's going to just outright dog you out. So I can understand their sentiments about her being arrested and hoping for the best for her. But it is crazy to like lose a teacher in the middle of the semester and have to get a new one. That's happened to me before, but the teacher that I had the class with, unfortunately, I think his wife got sick really bad and he needed to take care of her. She got better by the end of the semester, but like it was a very like touch and go situation. But yeah, hopefully the students can regroup. I think it was probably the right thing for Wendy to resign. I don't really think they fired her because I feel like they would have put out an official statement. But honestly, her and Eddie have like an uphill battle when it comes to this because if the evidence that is against them is true, they gonna be fighting for their lives. And I don't know how they're gonna get out of this. I just think about how stupid this was because you ruined so many opportunities for yourself. You were a professor, speaking gigs. I don't know what's gonna happen to Eddie for real. Shouts out to one of my mutuals on TikTok. Her name is Betty. She's a lawyer and she was explaining that nothing really bad will happen to Eddie unless he gets convicted. So if he gets convicted, then that's when the process of possibly losing, his license or being disbarred could happen. And I'm paraphrasing what she said. But yeah, I don't think they really have time to be thinking of other things other than making sure they stay out of jail, coming up with the money to pay back, the insurance companies and taking care of their kids. Okay. But that's all I got for you guys today. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below. Like the video, hype me up, subscribe, and be on the lookout for my review for Real Housewives of Potomac. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.